am the #1 fan of the Imagine Dragons. My name is Ryan Cam, and welcome back to the road to Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, where I'm covering every Mission Impossible film in honor of Final Reckoning, which is now in theaters. And I've covered everything up to Rogue Nation here on the channel, playlist link in the eye in the right-hand corner. But now, let's get into the one that has Tom Cruise jumping out of a plane. It's Mission Impossible Fallout. This was directed by Christopher McQuarrie. It was released in 2018. What a glorious year for movies, but that's a whole nother conversation.
The Predator came out.
Shut up. No, this picks up where the last movie left off, in that even though Solomon Lane was arrested, the syndicate is still out there, and they're very much running afoul of things. And there is a guy running around named John Lark, played in this movie by Henry Cavill, and his mustache, we'll get to that, who wants to do very bad things to the planet Earth, and it's up to the IMF to stop it. So this is the movie that pretty much solidified Mission Impossible as like GOAT talk of franchises right here. This is the one that, like, okay, 1, 2, and 3 were all good, but like nothing to write home about. Then Ghost Protocol was the best. Rogue Nation in certain circles is even better than that. And somehow Fallout is even better than that. It's my second favorite, so I wouldn't go quite that far, but it's still an epic movie, and make no mistake.
First off, I just want to say you're not wrong. Like, Fallout is one of the best Mission Impossible movies ever. Like, I remember watching.
It's my second favorite.
Yeah, I remember watching it. I remember watching Fallout, like, in theaters, because I went and see, me and my cousin. She had never seen a Mission Impossible movie in her life, and I remember watching all the Mission Impossible. She watched it and said, "This was really good." Like, especially like that. Yeah, that Imagine Dragons song really hyped me up. The friction, I still sometimes listen to that. It's such a good song.
Don't get the friction.
And then and then you see the bathroom fight where like Henry Cavill just loads his guns on. He just goes.
God, that's such a cool.
That's like his signature, like
the best teaser trailer of all time, or one of the best.
One of the best.
Yeah, it's one of the best.
Like, I can't imagine though. Like, also, it shows you who the villain is in the trailer, but it still doesn't ruin the experience, because like, yeah, I mean, nowadays, like, dude, like Henry Cavill, they reveal that he's the villain in the movie, even because they show the helicopter chase sequence. But
yeah,
then
he's shooting the M60 machine gun in the helicopter sequence.
And you still see the movie, and it still works, though. Like, the whole movie still doesn't ruin your experience. I remember watching Jimmy Kimmel Live at the time, and he was like talking about like how he ran into a homeless person. He was like, "Well, I'm on my way to go see the new Mission Impossible. Bye." And then he walked away, and I was like, everybody was talking about seeing Mission Impossible. This movie was one of the biggest movies of the year. And like, it really defined IMAX. I mean, remember, like, I was rewatching it last night on, whenever he's climbing up in the helicopter, you see the screen ratio get bigger for IMAX. And
or when he jumps out, or he does the Halo jump sequence.
Oh yeah, I mean, it works. It's such a.
You have to watch it on the IMAX screen to get that full immersive experience for every stunt, like the Halo jump, the helicopter chase sequences, him climbing up the helicopter.
Jeremy Renner was not going to be in it because he was shooting Avengers. The Avenger Endgame at the time.
Yeah, he was shooting Endgame.
So he said he couldn't do it. And so I was like, this bullshit. In which they said and then the Christopher McQuarrie later said because of his schedule. But then they wanted to kill him off at the beginning of the movie. Because originally the plan was at the beginning of the movie, they wanted somebody to die at the beginning of the movie, raise the stakes of the movie to show you that no one's safe. And so they asked Jeremy Renner, and Jeremy Renner was like, they said, look, you do a day on set, and everything, and then all of a sudden you get shot, killed, and then you're the MacGuffin of the movie where we have to avenge, you for Larkin killing you. And he goes, I know, I don't want to. No, I don't want to die in the movie, and so and then when Christopher said he's a smart one because we could probably bring him back for a future sequel.
I mean, no wonder why he refused to do it, because probably they wanted to kill him off.
Yeah, which I would have done. I mean, at least you would have said your goodbye, because I feel like
I still wish they would have brought back Jeremy Renner. I still wish that he would have been brought back to the series
just for
after
one
like
scene.
Fallout.
Just for one scene, he could have been like, "I am the Secretary of Defense."
Like literally, the last time you see him is Rogue Nation. That's literally the last time you see his character. He was so good, and the dynamic was working well. And then it never could bring him up ever again.
At least if he
Like
would have died,
even most of the supporting characters from the previous Mission Impossible movies that were a good team, with the third movie and then the Ghost Protocol, they're never mentioned ever again after that.
Yeah, like I was expecting him to get in the Final Reckoning. I'm gonna get all of my team together from over the years, and we're gonna literally
literally would have been awesome if they did that.
But instead it's like, I understand they said they tried to get bring back for Fallout Paula Patton from Ghost Protocol, but she was shooting another project, and Maggie Q was also busy. I think Maggie Q was busy shooting a TV show, and then Paula Patton said no to the offer because apparently they said they lowballed her or something like that for the offer to return.
Maybe.
Shame.
But they said but that's why they casted what's her face, Angela Bassett.
Yeah.
I mean, nice inclusion to have her, and she remains throughout the rest of the movies. So, I mean, Angela Bassett's awesome in pretty much everything she's in. Good get for them.
She kind of did play it off a little bit of Amanda Waller, even though she kind of did play Amanda Waller in Green Lantern. Remember that movie? She did. She played Amanda Waller in Green Lantern with Ryan Reynolds.
Whew,
that movie's a lot, but that's another story.
I sometimes forget Rebecca Ferguson's in this movie, by the way.
Yeah, because you don't see her until like 20 minutes into the movie.
I sometimes I forgot. I'm like, okay, I know there's 3 people in this movie. There's the what's her name, Invisible Woman. She's in this movie.
Oh, Vanessa Kirby. Yeah, Vanessa Kirby.
And then there's
White Widow.
Waller,
which is they're calling her the White Widow, which is kind of a derivative ripoff from Black Widow, doing that MCU style.
Well,
really?
She's the daughter of Max from Mission Impossible 1, so there's a connection there. It's funny that Vanessa Redgrave plays Max in Mission Impossible 1, and Vanessa Kirby plays her daughter. That's a coincidence.
Which this is the first time that they put her name on the map after this movie. Now that she is a well-known name after Fallout. I mean, she has worked in a lot of supporting roles for movies, but this movie is when everybody knows who Vanessa Kirby is.
She did The Crown beforehand, and then they
she did The Crown.
And then she did the Hobbs and Shaw movie with The Rock and stuff.
Yeah, that was after Fallout. She was literally typecast. She was typecast in that role.
Jason Statham's sister in the movie.
She was Shaw's sister, yeah. I mean,
she was
Vanessa
literally
Kirby
typecast.
In general,
she was in that shitty Napoleon movie.
Oh yeah,
she was in the shitty Napoleon movie.
I know.
Destiny
I've seen
brought me to this lamb chop.
Which I watched that and I'm like, parts of it are really good, but then the battles are great. But then it's like this, the rest of it's just shit.
The whole love thing between him and Vanessa Kirby with Napoleon's wife was so fucking cringy shit.
Yeah, it's like
boring.
I don't give a shit about her character in that movie at all.
I don't care. Take her out of the movie.
Well, back to Fallout for a second. I wanted to bring up that Henry Cavill and his mustache in this movie pretty much ruined the Justice League movie, but if I ever cover that movie in any extent here on the channel, we'll touch on that again. But basically, Henry Cavill made the smart choice and kept his mustache and remained in this movie, and I think he's honestly quite good. Like, he has one of my favorite lines in the movie where he goes to Lane. He's like, "Why must you make things so fucking complicated?"
And yeah, we already knew that they revealed that he's gonna be the main antagonist of the movie, but the whole point was not really showing you the plot twist that he is John Lark. The plot twist is when Ethan put 2 and 2 together and set him up to bust him, to know that he is John Lark. I love that whole plot twist when they just completely busted him.
Which, yeah, by the way, for people that are wondering that have not paid attention to all the internet stuff that we have, the reason why his mustache is a whole thing about because he was shooting Justice League and then he rapped and then he went and did this war movie and then he did Mission Impossible and he kept his mustache because he did the war movie and he liked his mustache so much. So then he did the war Mission Impossible and director, he says, "I got this mustache. I did this war movie a few days ago. Can I keep it?" And he goes, "Yeah, sure. Why not?" So then, of course, he did the movie, of course, but then they needed him back for reshoots, and he refused. And then, the studio was like, "No, he cannot shave his mustache."
Yeah, Paramount refused to have him shave out the mustache when he.
And they called it Mustache Gate happened. Mustache Gate happened.
because
That's where it happened.
apparently having him shave it, wait about a week for it to grow back was just too much to ask.
Well, they were going to shut down production. Like they said, Paramount, literally, the compromise was, what if they said they had three compromises. Compromise is one. We will this is the first one. What if you shave a mustache and then we will find a mustache that looks real? We will pay for a $1 million mustache to go on Henry Cavill's face. And they said, and then this is what Christopher McQuarrie said. I've worked with fake mustaches before. I can tell what a fake mustache is. And if I can tell, the audience can tell. And so they debunked that idea. The second idea was, we will pay. They said this is like the biggest idea they had. We will, if you shut down production on Mission Impossible for a couple of weeks for him to regrow his mustache, we will pay every day the production is shut down. And Tom Cruise said, hell no, we're not doing that. And then the third option was, they will literally then the third option was we're just going to CGI his upper lip. That was the one that ultimately came down to the third option.
But also they couldn't. But also the WB did not want to delay the production of Justice League. They did not want to delay it because they want to get tax returns for that fucking movie.
Which they were about to be bought by AT&T.
Yeah, because AT&T was about to do the whole merger thing. They wanted to get ahead of it. They want to get their cut before they do.
Kevin Tishihara was worried that he wouldn't get his bonus if the movie had his bonus check for March. So he said, "Oh, we're just gonna even Joss Whedon even pleaded with him. Let's delay the movie to March of 2018, and that way we have enough time to finish it and make it a good film." And they said, "No, just release it as is." And
they rushed it.
So he can get his bonus.
At
least we got a good steelbook out of it.
It's a terrible movie, though.
Yeah,
no,
I literally have the 4K Blu-ray for that movie.
I
drink the Kool-Aid.
It's a bad movie, but the design on this is awesome.
I got a cool ass Justice League cup, from the theater. Like it almost looks like it had like every side. It even had a picture of Batman with a white symbol on the side. Yeah. And I'm like, that costume never made it in the movie. And I'm like, where the hell was that? That was just done for marketing.
That was for the promotional purposes. That was stupid.
Which I will say, I really just think though, this movie though, I really appreciate that. I really appreciate this movie though, because this movie was really good. And there's a scene, the helicopter chase scene is still one of my favorites.
Oh god, it's so good.
Because he wrote it.
Especially when he crashes the helicopter, and all of a sudden that get the whatever the thing, I don't know what it is that leaks on his face, and he goes, ah!
It was. I think there had to be like a fuel that just fucking splashed in his face, like he's Harvey Dent as Two-Face.
I thought that was so good. I'm like, oh, that's like.
Is this the birth of Harvey? Is this the Harvey Dent turning into Two-Face sequence?
And then he gets hooked to death when the hook comes and and then he falls back. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, but
did you see though when I watched when he fell to his death after it hit him, and then he hits the pavement and then goes to the ground, and I'm like, you see like a big blood splatter and then hit the ground. I'm like,
are we going to talk about the beginning of the movie where they did this whole fake out news from CNN when he captured that one nuclear physicist dude? Are we not going to talk about this shit? The fucking CNN anchor made a cameo in this movie and trying to make the definition of fake news.
Shout out to Wolf Blitzer. I guess he needed a payday.
This is the first time that Simon Pegg, that Benji has got a chance to wear a mask, because through 3 and 5 he's always been wanting to wear a mask, and now he got to twice.
He wore a mask. Remember, he wore a mask.
No, he did not wear a mask in the 4th Ghost Protocol or Rogue Nation. He's always been saying, no, that was just a planned sequences that didn't go well. That was like, oh no, we can't do that.
Matt's right.
Which, I mean, he got to wear a mask twice technically in this movie.
Yeah, I did. I said that. Yeah, he said he did it twice.
Which, it's something that made me. I love the shootout sequence when they're talking about that though. But no, I'm saying no. But there's this. The only thing is, the scene where Luther gets shot. Originally,
the scene when they were trying to make the trade for the plutonium and things go sideways.
What happened was, because originally after Jeremy Renner turned that down, they were going to kill off Luther, and then he pointed his frustration to Tom Cruise and asked him, "Why does the black guy got to die in every movie?" And then Tom Cruise like, "You're right. Why does the black guy have to die?" So then they're like, we're not going to kill him. You know what? In fact,
that would not surprise me if that was the original plan for Jeremy Renner in the beginning of the movie, that they were going to kill him off in the shootout sequence.
Originally, because they said it needed to up the stakes, and
I understand that. I mean, I think I think early on would have been like, oh, come on, not that early. Maybe later, that or in the midpoint of the movie, sure.
Like, honestly, if Luther would have died right there with the bomb, that would have made it more. It would have been more poetic.
Oh God.
Which I honestly like when he says, like, tells the Michelle Monaghan, go be with your husband. That I thought that was so good. I'm like, oh, I like that. Which let me ask you.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I want to say what you're saying.
I was just going to bring up, and maybe Collins, you were going along this route too, but I loved that they brought Michelle Monaghan back for this because, like, my favorite part of 3 was their relationship and like how she pretty much brought him back to life at the end of that movie, and one of the best scenes of that whole entire movie. She's in Ghost Protocol for like a minute or two, and here she's given a more extensive role, basically closing off that chapter of the series. And I mean, she could have just been a cameo. She could have just been like a FaceTime gimmick, but no, she's actually there. They have a nice scene being her and Ethan, and it's a nice bit of closure for that relationship. I love that. I love the spirit of that.
She has about the same amount of screen time that Beetlejuice has in the original Beetlejuice.
That's true.
Oh, yeah. True. Yeah.
Yeah,
I love it. Almost seems to me that they wanted to bring her one last time to close off the chapter between Ethan Hunt and Michelle Monaghan's character, as like giving more of the closure of that story, which I thought they did it very well. It did not feel like that they forced that in just for the sake of it. And I will agree, Ryan, that the best part about the movie is seeing Michelle Monaghan doing that whole plot twist that they faked her death to keep her in hiding. And I thought that was a beautiful scene when I first saw that in the theater. I was like, it brought so much joy because if these are for people who have not seen Mission Impossible 3, you're not going to get that much of an impact.
I've seen Final Reckoning as of this recording. Matt has, Collins is not. So we're not going to go too deep into plot for the sake of not going into spoilers. But we
could do a spoiler review once he sees the movie.
We can do that.
Planning on seeing it this weekend.
We can do that. But the point I'm trying to get at is that I feel like, and this may grow in the coming years, but I feel like for some, Fallout might be the end of the series. Because we were talking off air about how people say that Dead Reckoning and Final Reckoning almost feel borderline unnecessary. If the movie stopped with Fallout, I feel like you could call this the perfect action movie franchise. And it's a great action movie franchise, but it's not perfect. I feel like with Fallout, it feels like a definitive, like, cut, dry. Like, it feels like 1 through 3, cut, dry. 4, 5, 6, cut, dry.
Yeah, I do agree that even after when I went to go see Fallout at the time when it came out in theaters, I felt like this felt like the conclusion. And I was like, I would have been fine if they did not do another Mission Impossible movie. This was perfect. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, I like Dead Reckoning and Final Reckoning. Were they necessary? No. But was it worth the entertainment? Of course, because it's fucking Tom Cruise. We want to see him nearly kill himself when he does this stunt work. Dude, he broke his fucking ankle jumping off of the rooftop in Fallout. They advertised that shit. That got more people into the theater.
Right.
They want to see that sequences where he breaks his ankle when he jumps on the rooftop.
Which I fell down the rabbit hole the other day of Fallout, where I was like, I watched the Henry Cavill, and Henry Cavill said that he wanted so bad to do the jump out the airplane with Tom Cruise, and they said, they told him you can't do it. He goes, and then he begged Tom Cruise, like, I'm in, throw me in, coach. And then Tom Cruise does this. He sat him aside real quick and said, Henry, listen, I have thousands of hours of training, Henry. If you don't, and if you jump out of the plane and you have one little mistake, you could kill somebody. So unfortunately, he said you can't jump out of the plane. He goes, I've been practicing for months. You have not. And I said, that's the only.
Well, that's because Tom Cruise has way more experience because he's jumped out of a plane like 1,000 times.
He said it was great. He said, look, it's not because we don't think you can. It's because if you make one mistake, people are going to die.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Tom Cruise has been.
But I will say, how crazy the Halo jump was to watch it on an IMAX screen.
That's like the scene everyone remembers from this movie, and rightfully so. It's like, it's so crazy. Like, after the plutonium exchange, then you get the credits, and then you get the then you get the IMF CIA thing. We're like, you made a terrible choice in Berlin, and like that whole thing, that whole exchange.
Yeah, because he made the wrong, like from their point of view, that Ethan made the wrong choice by like saving his one life from his team in exchange for the plutonium. If he had held on, it would not have happened. I mean, from their point of view, they have a good point. But he's all about saving his own friends.
Didn't feel like them killing out Baldwin off was just something for them to kill somebody off, because he just dies so randomly, and I'm just like, really? Like,
I like this dynamic, but his banter with the team with Alec Baldwin, he got better even after Rogue Nation.
Like I wish they would have it felt like them killing him off was so unnecessary. You know?
Yeah, I didn't think they needed to kill him off. It was like we only had him in like 2 movies so far, and he was starting to really come around and becoming really part of the gang, and I wanted more of that.
I bet they're so happy they did now, though. I'm like, they're probably like, thank God we did that.
Yeah, Macquarie, when he heard the news, he was like, thank you, Lord.
It's like, thank you. He says, we made a smart decision. Back in 2010, they were questioning that decision, but in 2022, they were like, I think we made the right decision. Like
dodging that train like that one kid in Final Destination.
You almost, I know what you were going to say, but then you're like, oh, I better not say that. It's like,
I was going somewhere else. I'm like, yeah, I better not.
You almost said something. I was like, oh, Ryan's going for it. I was like, Ryan's going for it. But no, Ryan's like, hold on, let me go. Train. Yeah, train. But
yeah, it definitely works more in the context of this.
But I will say,
but in the bathroom fight, one more thing I wanted to forget. Okay. I want to say before I forget. The bathroom fight has like my favorite one-liner in any Mission Impossible movie, where they're trying to make a face of the guy who they think is John Lark. They just beat up in the bathroom, and Ethan's like, I need a face to actually make a face. That line makes me laugh so hard, like every time, because they've like just beaten each other up, and like pretty much his face is just useless, and they can't make a face based off of like a face like that. So
the bathroom fight was fucking dope.
It was epic.
Like this was we haven't seen a bathroom fight sequences like that since True Lies.
That trailer hyped me up so bad that I would go in bathrooms in 2018 hoping somebody would fight me, because I'm like,
I always do that too. Even after I get out of the theater watching a movie, I always go to the bathroom and I feel like, oh, I'm ready to fight someone in the bathroom.
Well, before we should clarify, we're not literally seeking out violence.
No, we're just having fun with it.
I don't go thinking that
we're just using it. We're just imagining like, oh yeah, we're like, it just makes us want to get into a fight in the bathroom.
Yeah, that's what we're getting. Yeah, we don't want people thinking we're going in there trying to beat up people in the bathroom.
Oh, we're gonna beat some fuckers ass.
Come here, bro.
Come here,
we're gonna break something tonight. Give me something to break, in the words of Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, they've done some crazy, like interesting fight sequences in the bathroom. Like it almost came close to being perfect, just as much as True Lies was.
Let me ask you this though: what'd you think of the scene? I love the scene where Tom Cruise is chasing after Henry Cavill, and then all of a sudden he jumps on the elevator and looks up, and Henry Cavill's just staring down at him like this, like.
He's just like, give him the stare down level, and then he shows the picture of his ex-wife. Like, oh, like they got her. I was like, damn, dude, that upped the stakes a little bit.
I just thought that was great though, just him hanging on the bars, and he noticed him just.
I don't know how you be able to hang on for that long in the elevator, and you got a hell of a grip.
Which, I mean, it's Ethan Hunt. I mean, come on.
Yeah, he's a messiah. He's basically
he hangs on a helicopter in an airplane in the new movie. Okay, I mean. The elevator is nothing, you know.
That's true.
Which one thing I want to say is this doesn't get talked about enough in the movie. The score by Lauren Belfort is so good in the movie, especially really, like that. That, you know, whenever there's the scene whenever.
Did you know at the end of the opening credits and even end of the opening titles, just boom boom, like a dark and ominous score, boom 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 boom.
Which I love though. I just love the scene where like they do the shootout sequence, you know, whenever they're trying.
It was so Hans Zimmer. Felt like a Hans Zimmer score for a moment.
His protege.
The whole drum thing. Boom, 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 boom.
Him and Raymond DeJour and Junkie XL worked under Hans Zimmer. They're his students.
Yeah, okay. I could see why.
Hans Zimmer did consult on in fact, he consulted on this movie and under Top Gun Maverick.
You know what this reminds me from when Christopher McQuarrie took over to direct the franchise? Rogue Nation felt like the Winter Soldier, and Fallout felt like Civil War. Captain America Civil War style, if you really think about it. They literally did. Yeah. No, someone on YouTube did a whole trailer of Fallout instead of just putting it. They did the Captain America Civil War trailer where they took the music from Imagine Dragons Friction and placed it onto Civil War trailer. And it fits so fucking perfectly well. If you watch that, I'll send you that. I'll send you that video.
Me in the future, put the clip here.
But what do you think about the helicopter? Whenever he tries to drop the payload on the helicopter and they miss it, and then Henry Cavill looks over and sees Ethan Hunt, and then he goes,
Did you notice that when he jumped on the helicopter, he thought that was Lark, and he looks exactly like him? It's like, is that a fucking stunt double?
And he goes like this. I was like,
and just throws him off the fucking helicopter. That was so fucking hilarious. Did you notice that? But did you know when they were making that movie, he had his safety wires, obviously, when he was climbing up the rope of the helicopter. When he fell, that was not supposed to happen. Like, he actually fell off the fucking rope, and he had to carry hang on the payload. And they got the shot they needed. It wasn't intended to happen in the first place.
Tom Cruise is, one.
Hey, did we lose Tom?
So he's gonna die one day making a movie, and then people are gonna be like, "Well, this is what he wanted."
Hey, he died doing what he loved to entertain the audience.
The signs were there.
Which, you know what? I really do think, though, the movie opens messed up too, like with a nuclear blast that kills him and his, ex-wife.
Yeah, his nightmares when he was having a nightmare sequence of the wedding, and then you have Blaine, who is the one who's married. Yeah, it was a great sequence. Like, oh wait, they're getting married? No, it has to be a dream. This is a nightmare sequence.
Which. Yeah. Let me ask you this though. That was
it almost felt like a wedding sequence, except it's like the T2 style of when Sarah Connor has a nightmare from a nuclear Holocaust scene.
Yeah. Yeah. Did y'all like the scene though when him and Rebecca Ferguson were like walking and they were in like the bushes, the trees, and then they basically were like the spy, like a Thomas Crown Affair type situation.
Yeah.
Where it's spy, they're following each other. And then, because he cared.
I mean, they were so close to each other. I'm surprised they haven't banged yet, or maybe they have off screen. Who knows?
He's like, which he runs her down basically because she's like trying to kill Solomon Lane, and then all of a sudden he just goes, he's like, boom, boom.
It added more tension. I was like, oh my god, is she gonna shoot all of them? No, she was after to get Lane.
Yeah, that was insane too. That was really insane.
Did you know that the motorcycle chase? That motorcycle chase was fucking insane. They literally they didn't have, the cars they were all practical when he was going through the cars through traffic. Like, that was real shit. I was like, wow, they were really fucking able to prepare doing that sequence of the motorcycle chase. That was great.
Too. And then I see that cop, and the cop's pulls it, and then all of a sudden she gets shot. And then all of a sudden, Tom Cruise is just goes bam, 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 shoots all the bad guys, and then
I believe it in the commentary when he fell off the motorcycle, when he was limping, that was part of the sequence where he already broke his ankle. He already broke his ankle when he was running. He still kept on running, even after he broke his ankle on the rooftop.
My ankle hurts for your ankle.
You say your anger hurts?
My anger hurts for 1,000 souls of passion.
I thought you were going to say, my fingers hurt. But your back's going to hurt.
My finger. Charlie,
anyone else? Anyone else's fingers hurt? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, your back's gonna hurt because you put landscaping duty.
His back hurts for carrying this franchise.
Side note: yesterday I saw The Last Rodeo, and Christopher McDonald is in that movie, and I was thinking about all Happy Gilmore quotes for the rest of the movie. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. I enjoyed it, but as soon as I saw him, I'm like, oh, he must eat pieces of shit for breakfast.
I eat pieces of shit for breakfast? No.
I watched an interview with Rob Schneider the other day, and I just fell in a Rob Schneider rabbit hole where I was ended up watching The Hot Chick. I watched The Hot Chick and The Animal and Deuce Bigelow and all that. Where I'm just for some reason, I'm just you know what? It's been a while since I watched The Hot Chick. I'm going to go watch that movie. I used to love that movie, and I watched it, and I'm just why am I sitting there watching Rob Schneider movies? I don't know, but I just been on a Rob Schneider kick lately.
Because they're funny.
Yeah. Rob Schneider woke up one day and was like, I wonder why people don't like me anymore. No, it's not because you're now leaning more right wing there, Rob. It's because everyone woke up collectively and said your movies aren't funny anymore, and they never were. but I digress.
Oh, and also the
Fall-
fact that he doesn't believe in vaccines and bullshit like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure that
There's
has
like-
something.
I still enjoy some of his movies. I'm not gonna lie, even
Look,
though I
I
don't
like
care about
him.
him now.
I like his movies, and you know what? Honestly, I tried to watch his Netflix special, but I just couldn't. It's not funny. It just wasn't funny. I did not laugh once.
No, I tried to too. I couldn't get into it.
I'm
It's
like,
not even
dude,
funny.
Like I said, you're a better speaker when you're on campus with Charlie Kirk. That actually is more funnier than when you're actually doing a stand-up special.
It's like just do Norm of the North 2, sir, please. We would be far more entertained by that. But anyway, back
He's
to
supposed to
Fallout.
be.
Oh, I want to,
This is-
back to Fallout, but I wanted to talk about one scene before I forget. You remember when they were capturing Lane and they get caught by a cop, and it created a lot more suspense. Like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? And then fucking Henry Cavill was pulling out his pistol, like he's ready to gun her ass down. And then you have the men coming in. It's like, hey, Solomon needs you, blah blah blah, and he's making a tough choice: either let the cop get killed or gun down a bunch of the men. And it felt like, and they did this whole video YouTube thing where they did this whole video game style of choose your interactive or something. And you had the one making the choice. They literally did that. You could see that shit on YouTube. I was like, that's so accurate. Like, what do you choose? That or this? Choose and gun the fucking down. He pulls out his pistol. Collateral style.
She wanted to get gunned down. She didn't want to get gunned down.
But I thought that scene was so damn good. Like that created like are you like is he gonna let them gun her down? No witnesses?
Well, this movie's getting an amazing grade for somehow the 2018 was just a magical year for movies, and somehow like in a year where we got Avengers Infinity War among many others, this was somehow rivaling that in terms of quality. Like just everything was firing on every cylinder, and just I think in terms of Mission Impossible like mania, like this was the peak right here. It was never this good again. But that'll be all for this one. But next time it'll be time to talk about Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Or no, wait, I'm sorry, just Dead Reckoning now. Only the real ones will remember when it was called Dead Reckoning Part 1. But Collins, where can the people find you?
They can find me at 3D Movie Cinema. They can find me at 3D Movie Cinema, where I literally, either this Friday, I think we're doing either Final Destination 4 or Batman Terry. I will let the guys know and see what's up. And and also we are supposed to do a small talk this week, and there's something else that we're supposed to do, but I forgot. We'll talk off camera.
Since you were busy typing, Jake, so we can all hear it.
Right, Matt?
Well, one thing I want to close off my final thoughts on Fallout. For me, it's the best one of the franchise. I thought it really peaked, gave me everything I've wanted. It felt like a true close off to the chapter with Ethan's character. And I do agree that Dead Reckoning and the Final Reckoning were kind of unnecessary. But like I said before, for the entertainment, I enjoyed it for what it was, even though we didn't really need those last two movies. I thought Fallout ended perfectly, and it was it's still in my top 3 favorite movies that came out in 2018. We had lots of great movies. Into the Spider-Verse, Avengers Infinity War, and so on and so forth. It was a banger blockbuster movie of that time. And yeah, it's a 10 out of 10. It's a masterpiece. The more I watch it, the better it gets. So you can find me on my YouTube channel at Matt Wyatt 92. I put up my non-spoiler review for Final Destination Bloodlines and the latest Mission Impossible movie, The Final Reckoning. So you can go and check that out.
Yeah, check out all of their stuff, links below. But for Jacob Collins, for Matt Wyatt, my name is Ryan Cam. We will see you all in the next one. Y'all take care.